Hello, ladies and hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Godzilla review, and today we're taking a look at the NECA Godzilla Atomic Blast, Godzilla 2019 Atomic Blast version, or poster version. It can also be, I think. And right off the bat, I'm gonna say this figure is really good. You know, go get it if you haven't gotten it already. And if you got the first version, you might want to rethink that. You might want to sell that one and get a newer one. I'll explain why in a little bit. But okay, this review is gonna be a little weird because I kind of want to talk about the other two versions that NECA has done of this mold of the 2019 figure. But I guess let's just talk about paint on this one for now. No, sculpt first. Yeah. Personally, I think the sculpt is the best of the 2019 figures we've gotten. It's the same across all three for the NECAs, but I think this is better than the Monster Arts. You know, controversial opinion, you know, you can leave your hate in the comments, whatever. I think this does a much better job at portraying the bulk that Godzilla has in the 2019 film in King of the Monsters, especially in the neck and like torso area. Because the Monster Arts, and I'll do a comparison later in the video, but it has this really weird neck section because of the whole being able to look all the way up thing with the beam, but we'll get to that later. Otherwise, you know, detail-wise, they're pretty much equal, but I like the beefier look that the NECA figure has. Paint-wise, this is supposed to be kind of representing, excuse me, the bit where Godzilla kind of comes up from the ocean. I'm not gonna hold back spoilers just because you've probably already seen the film. You know, the rebirth moment, and he shoots his beam up into the sky. That's kind of what this is supposed to represent, but NECA, they go all out when they do fun paint jobs like this. I think this is really fun. I think this is really cool. I like the blues, the shiny blues, and the different shades of blue. I like, especially, I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see this. Let me see if I can get the camera to focus. Oh, hold on. Focus camera. Yeah, I don't think you'll be able to, maybe. Focus camera. I don't think you can see it too well. I'll have to take pictures afterwards. But I really like how the teal color goes into the scale. You can kind of see that here. Not all that great, but you can kind of see it. Again, I'll do pictures. But I think that looks really nice. I don't know, something about it just looks really good to me. Again, it's done in black, different shades of blue to kind of portray the atomicness. I think it's really done. I think it's really well done. I quite like it. It's out there. It's goofy, but I like it a lot. I think it's gonna really stand out on your shelf. I guess articulation next. I will say this is a reissue of the version 2 because the version 2, the original release, is different in the way, because it's different because the reissues of the NECA Godzilla 2019 figures, all three of them, have softer plastic, which allows for better articulation. So that's why I said, you know, if you have the original, the very first release, you might want to rethink that. You might want to sell it and get yourself a newer one before they're gone off shelves. And I'll get to that in a little bit when I do comparisons. But articulation wise, this guy, he's pretty great. I think I might have popped the head off. He can look pretty high up compared to the other NECA Godzilla figures, or the first releases anyways. Almost enough to recreate the poster, not quite. I'm really kind of forcing it here. It can't quite recreate it, but it's not too far off. So that's all the way up. Here's all the way down. Not too much down. until you use the ab crunch. The head can turn all the way around. You can break his head. He can do a full 360. That's the jaw closed. This is the jaw open to the widest. Before you start kind of forcing it, you can look from side to side pretty well. Yeah, that side. Here is the other. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. Then you get to the ab kind of section. This is as far back as he goes, just because of the spine limitation. Which, I mean, that's Godzilla standing up pretty straight. Again, I'll get to the comparisons in a minute. I keep talking about him. This is kind of hard to do because he's got spikes. There we go. That's him looking all the way down, which is a pretty big amount of range, pretty huge amount of range. Anyways, let's bring that back up. Get them all straightened out. Up here too. The arms, they go out that far, down. They can kind of go like, you're not getting this on camera at all. They kind of have like this in and out motion. It's kind of hard to use, but it is there, in case you want it. The arms can do a full 360. You got an elbow joint here. I'd say that's about 90. You got a joint at the hand, so he can bring his arms up. And they can do a full 360 as well. So, you know, if you want to do that, you can. The legs are kind of awkward, I will say that. They can do a full 360, I think. Yeah, they can do a full 360. You got your knee joint. There you go. Kind of looks a bit odd, but it's not too bad. You can also rotate. You can rotate further, but I'm too tired to rotate it all the way, and it's kind of stiff. And then you got a ball joint at the leg, which is pretty good, I'd say. It's pretty good. You can get some pretty nice movement out of that. And then you get the tail. Pretty much every section. No. There's a ball joint here. This is a section. This is a section. This is a section. Here's another. That's another. I think about every 2 sections up until here are ball joints. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I think. So it allows for a pretty decent amount of articulation. Mine, it's not that great. It kind of shifts back. Doesn't really hold the pose all that well. It kind of does, kind of doesn't. As you can see, it's holding that pose, but when I try to bring the tail up and this way, it kind of droops. So it's kind of a hit or miss situation. So that's articulation for you. This guy does also have accessories. He's the only NECA figure, or NECA 19 figure, that has accessories, and he does come with 2 of them. The first one is this beam, which I think looks really nice. It's done in translucent plastic. Now let me see. How is this supposed to go into his mouth? I've only used this like once. I believe it's like this. Yeah. I think that looks pretty good. Kind of makes me wish they had done some kind of light up feature, but that's asking a little too much. He can kind of, oh, being popped out. Maybe it doesn't go like this. I don't know. He can almost recreate, oh my goodness, hold on. I don't know, maybe I am putting it on wrong. I don't know, that kind of works a little better. You can kind of recreate the poster, but not really. The beam doesn't really want to stay in for me. I don't know if it's just this one or not. I think it might be. Yeah, that's about as far up as you'll get him looking. Which, you know, oh, yeah, I'm just gonna leave that. It's, you know, you can't exactly recreate the poster, but I don't think it's too bad either way. Yeah, but just know, you can't recreate the poster with this figure, with any of the NECA figures. He also comes with a secondary accessory. This is kind of like a beam effect blast kind of deal, so, here. Beam, work with me for at least 5 seconds. Am I even putting this on right? Maybe that's the issue. So you got the beam, and then you can have it kind of, let's see. GMK, stay. There we go, that kind of works. You can have it as kind of an effect blast to hit buildings or other kaiju. I think that works pretty nicely. I kind of wish they had done, they had put, oh, yeah, there it goes again. Kind of maybe a small magnet in the epicenter, and then another small magnet at the end of the beam. That way you could kind of connect them. Because as it stands, they don't connect. You know, you just kind of have to rest that on something else. So it's nice, you know, and it was the same price as the other figures, but it could have been better. That's just all I'm gonna say. At least, you know, they're giving us beams for the same price. They didn't up the price because they added something. I guess now comparisons. Let me straighten this guy out as best as I can. So first off, we're gonna grab the first release NECA figure. Or not first release NECA. The first 2019 release figure. So here you can see both. This is the infamous sloppy eye paint job. I've kind of fixed mine up a little bit, not too much. I should probably work on it more. But as you can see, the atomic version is actually taller. How about I come out in the shot? Anyways, and the reason for that is the softer plastic. So, if you see here, this figure isn't really standing as straight as it could be, because you can still kind of see that gap, and I can't bring it back farther because of the harder plastic. Kind of same goes for the neck. But if you take a look at the stance that this figure has, you can see it's a lot more filled in. You can see this is a lot further back, and you can see he stands taller. It looks a lot nicer, and as you saw earlier, the articulation is a lot better. And that's because with all of the NECA 19 reissues, they changed the plastic to be a bit softer. So if you bought a NECA Godzilla 2019 standard version now, it would have the same range that this one does. Same goes for the burning. So it kind of sucks if you bought the first versions, you know. But it is what it is. You can, or well, maybe you can't right now because NECA won't be making any more figures. But I would do my best to try and track down the newest versions you can find, like at Target or wherever they might be. Maybe the eBay NECA store. Excuse me, because the articulation definitely improves this figure by quite a lot. Articulation wise, you know, the SH Monster Arts kind of beat it. That was one of the main points for why you should get the Monster Arts, but this kind of evens it out a little bit. The Monster Arts is still better in the legs, but like a torso up and the tail, they're pretty close. But yeah, that was my little kind of message regarding these guys, the 2019 version. I'm gonna bring out the burning 2019 NECA figure just so you can see that it's even worse on this one. the gap, and he's a lot shorter, as you can see. Yeah. I'm probably gonna have to modify both of these to try and get them to stand a little taller and fix the articulation a little bit, but with this guy, I didn't have to do any of that. Now for another comparison, let's bring out the Monster Arts 2019 version. The NECA is bigger, I think. And then, so, right now, this guy, he's really no longer 80 bucks, which is the price he originally came out as. I think. But this guy, the standard version, did come with a beam. So, I mean, it's kind of pick and choose. I think the NECA looks a lot better, because as you can see, the neck on this one is pretty ugly looking, if I'm to be entirely honest. It's kind of flimsy, it doesn't look right, and half the time you gotta finagle with it, and even then it still won't look entirely accurate. But with the NECA figure, especially the newer releases, which you can pose a lot better, I think it looks just spot on. You know, it's got the beefiness that that Godzilla had in the film, that the Monster Arts lacks. And then just in general, overall, I feel the Monster Arts kind of looks too skinny. The only place I'd say the articulation kind of works to benefit this guy is in the legs. I think the legs look pretty good, and you can get a lot more posability out of them than on the NECA. It's not the biggest, it's kind of a big difference, but it's, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's enough to kind of warrant the purchase, even though I did buy this figure. I also think the head on the NECA looks better. It is missing some teeth, but I mean, the Monster Arts kind of only has a few teeth as well. So it's, you know, it's personal preference, but I think that, you know, if you, excuse me, I'm losing my voice, that if you want to get a solid Godzilla 2019 figure, go for the NECA. Because this guy, he's going to cost you a lot more now that they're not making them. And you get a really good figure for 25 bucks. Anyways, let's move on, because this video has been super long. Here he is with the Robotech Baragon, just because I had him on the shelf. The Robotech figures are pretty tiny, so I guess it works kind of, but not really. Here he, ooh, I forgot to do this one entirely. Here he is with the NECA Godzilla 2014 version. I think they look really good together. I think this is probably the best NECA Godzilla 2014 figure you'll find, even considering the Monster Arts, because that thing is kind of ugly. And this guy is shorter. Yeah, oh, just hit my wall. This guy definitely is shorter here. And Godzilla is supposed to have, you know, grown since the 2014 film and the 2019 film, so I think it works. Anyways, let's get this guy out of here. Here he is with the, oh, come on, get it. With the NECA 1954 mold. This is the poster version because I don't have the standard, but, you know, you get the gist. That's what he scales with. This is an average size NECA figure, so that's how he'll scale with all the other ones. G19 is a bit on the taller side. And then finally, just because he was on my desk, here he is with the RX-78-2. This is the HG Revive version. So yeah, he's a tiny boy. I think that's it for comparisons. Anyways, this video's gone on for too long. So, final thoughts. I think for this release is a really fun one. Probably won't appeal to people who must have screen accuracy, but if you like flashy colors, you like goofy stuff, I think this is really good. A really good figure to get. Get a newer version if you can, because it's gonna have the increased articulation, like I said. You know, the standard or the first release, you won't get much out of it, but this one, it's a lot more fun to pose than the original. Colors are great. You know, you get a beam effect and a beam blast for $25, which is the same price as, you know, the other two versions which don't have accessories. I think overall it's a really solid release. Too bad we're not getting any more NECA figures, but I think if you're on the fence about them, get them. If you have the original release, you might want to trade in for this one. But that's it for today, folks. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe, comment down below if you have this figure, if you're gonna pick this figure up, or what you think about it, or you think it's ugly because you're a Monster Arts fanboy. I don't know. Peace. Did I say subscribe? Subscribe.